I'm Dane, and this is Dan Explains. I recently did a video on something called Fiducia Supplicans. No, that's not the scientific name of a small herbaceous plant. That's the name of a document recently released by the Vatican. The controversial part of the document, which has Pope Francis' signature, is that it allows Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples. I already went over that in another of my videos, linked in the description, so I won't be going over that here. Since then, many cardinals and bishops have started to get bold and publicly criticize the document. Normally, Pope Francis acts against cardinals and bishops pretty quickly when he's unhappy with them. At least, as of recording this video, it appears he hasn't moved against any of these dissenters. At any rate, because of the release of Fiducia Supplicans, the topic of removing Pope Francis from the papacy has come up. Well, could the cardinals do that? Let me explain. As you might imagine, the Pope has a pretty important job in the Church. He's the supreme pontiff and the vicar of Christ, which basically means Christ's leader on earth. Although, it has more meanings that I'm not going to go into in this video. It also means he has the absolute dictatorial authority over governing the Church. The question is, does the Church have any mechanism for removal of a pope if he turns out to be a bad one? Well, I think we need to look at a little bit of history to get a better idea. Contrary to what some believe, Pope Benedict XVI wasn't the first pope to quit the papacy. The first pope to do so was Pope Pontian. During the Roman persecution, he was sentenced to hard labor in the mines of Sardinia. Realizing he couldn't effectively govern the Church anymore, and that he would likely die before he could return, he handed over the reins of the Church to St. Anterus. This is pretty close to a pope being kicked out, but it's worth noting he left the papacy. Another pope who quit, and was also deposed, twice, and was arguably one of the worst popes, was Pope Benedict IV. He was forced on the College of Cardinals by his powerful father when he was a teenager, and well, he acted like most would expect a spoiled teenager with a lot of power. Eventually, all his scandals led to him deciding to sell the papacy to his godfather, now known as Pope Gregory VI. His godfather was only in the papacy for a year before he decided cleaning up the mess his godson had made was too difficult. So Benedict IV returned, along with another person claiming to be Pope Sylvester III. This created such a mess, the King of Germany, King Henry III, traveled to Italy and formed a council called the Council of Sutri to resolve the matter. The council threw Sylvester in jail and deposed Benedict. The council decided Gregory was the real pope, but was guilty of simony for buying the papacy from his godson. In light of that, they convinced him to resign the papacy, at which point the council then appointed the next pope, who was Pope Clement II. Clement died a few years later, and Benedict quickly stepped in again and started acting as pope until Emperor Henry, who was elevated emperor by Pope Clement, I bet you didn't see that one coming, right, came back and kicked Benedict out. So, if you followed through that whole sordid mess, you'll notice that not once did a legitimate pope get removed. Benedict was deposed. Twice. But neither time was he the legitimate pope. He had given up the papacy. Messes similar to this one I just described happened several times in the Church's history. The important thing to point out is that anytime any pope was deposed, it was because he wasn't the true pope. What should be clear here is the Church had no formal process for removing popes. So if something went wrong, illegitimate popes would simply be removed, and legitimate popes would be forced to resign. Has the Church come up with a better formal process since then? Well, no. But with a growing group of cardinals and bishops who think the pope is either not legitimate or should resign, it might be possible for them to form a council. The issue is such councils in the past usually had the support of powerful monarchs with armies to back them up. Any modern council probably wouldn't have that advantage. But if one did form, could they legitimately depose Pope Francis? Well, no. At least not if he's still pope. Up until now, there have only been two ways popes have left the papacy: by dying or quitting. However, there may be another way. One that has been acknowledged by theologians in the past, but has never been used to remove a pope. If the pope becomes a heretic, he would cease to be pope. Then, he could be deposed. Many people are arguing that's the case with Pope Francis. As it has it, I've already done a video on that. Link in the description. If you're interested, watch that video, and also watch my video on Fiducia Supplicans after this one. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.